Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to our new packing video. My name's Anna and I'm actually a Winterline alum. So I just graduated from the Global Skills Program in the spring, so just about a month ago. And I'm really excited to share this packing video with you all, especially from the perspective of someone who just went on the program. I really want to share some helpful tips and information, but also all of this information in the video is going to be available on your packing list, so feel free to follow along with your packing list and take notes. And yeah, let's just jump into it. The first section is considerations while packing. And if there's anything that I want you to take away from this video or from the packing list, it's to pack light. And I'm going to go over a few other things throughout the video that will help you pack light, but this should just be a consistent thing in your mind whenever you're starting to pack or you're going to the store or wherever to think about packing. I really want you to think about simplifying and packing light. This is just going to make your life so much easier. Your NOLS instructors are going to stress this, your field advisors are going to stress this, and you're just going to love life a lot more if you have a lighter backpack. So this also kind of leads into the way that we organize our bags on Winterline. So I had a big travel backpack and a day pack, and I'm going to show that later when I talk about the travel bags. But again, you really want to keep things light because there is a weight limit when we're going through airports. So the weight limit on all travel bags, so the ones that you're going to be checking, are 50 pounds. In reality, this really isn't something you should be worrying about. My bag typically was 25 to 30 pounds, but that is something to keep in mind. And the last thing I want to touch on with considerations while packing is laundry is always going to be available, and it's going to look a little different in each place you are. There were definitely times when I had access to really nice laundry machines and could do that, or there were times when I was washing my underwear and socks in the sink. So it really depends. Again, it's just kind of part of that travel mindset that you have to get into, but please remember that laundry is an option, and so you don't have to pack 2 weeks worth of things. You can really pack 5 or 6 days worth of things that you can be washing, and yeah, so that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so don't forget your bare essentials. This is a super detailed list on the packing list. I'm not going to go into depth about any of these, but one thing that I do really want to recommend is bringing some sort of folder that you can keep in your day pack to organize any paperwork you have, any certificates you get along the way. We get a lot of certificates on Winterline. I didn't bring one of these first trimester and I really regretted it. This is just a really helpful way to stay organized. So out of all the bare essentials, that's just something that I would add to your list. So the next section is travel bags, and I have some of my travel bags lined up. I'm going to talk about them a little bit. Before I talk about what I brought, I want to show you what not to bring, and that is a roller bag. So no one in my group brought a roller bag, but students in the past have. It's a bad idea. You're going to be in some rural parts and you're going to want to be carrying everything on your back. It's more comfortable. This is just a hassle. Big red X, don't bring a roller backpack. Our next thing is the travel backpack. So this is mine. It's kind of unzipped right now, but I really loved this backpack. It's a Gregory. Gregory has great backpacks. I think Osprey and North Face and REI, they all have great bags too. This one I actually already owned before the trip, but if you don't have one yet, I would recommend going into the store and trying them on and talking with a sales rep so they can kind of get you the right fit and all that. So this one I really liked. It's 60 liters, so that's kind of on the smaller side. I would aim for 50 to 80 liters. This is a top loader, which is nice because you get to, the name kind of defines it, you load everything from the top. So I would throw everything in there, but what's nice about it is it also has a zip. It has an opening at the front, so you can kind of load it like a suitcase if you want. So this was a great backpack. This is where all the bulk of your things is going to be. Okay, so this was my day pack. So when you're traveling, you're going to want your backpack on your back and your day pack on your front. So I really liked this day pack, but I wish it was a little bit smaller. This is 25 liters, and again, with the theme of traveling light and packing light, I would aim for 15 to 20 liters for your day pack. This is water resistant, which is really nice in Central America. I keep a lock on the front, which comes in handy when you're in hotels that don't have safes or whatever, so that's a helpful little tip. And yeah, I mean, I would recommend bringing a day pack that's a little bit smaller than this, but anything to hold your computer, your charging cords, any prescription medication, that type of thing, this is what you're going to be using it for. Okay, and now we have my duffel bag. So this is the duffel bag I actually brought. It looks kind of big, but it actually fits, it kind of folds into this thing, so it's pretty small. I used that for separating my laundry. I also used it as a second carry-on, which I wouldn't recommend. I would try to fit all your stuff in your day pack and your backpack. But yeah, definitely bring a small duffel bag. And then the last thing is stuff sacks or packing cubes. So I used a combination of both to organize my things in my travel backpack throughout the program, but stuff sacks are really great. I organized mine by color, so shirts were yellow, pants were in the green bag, that type of thing. You just kind of stuff everything in there. It's a stuff sack, and that keeps your stuff organized. And then these are the packing cubes. I really liked these because you get to keep your stuff folded, so this was nice to keep my stuff organized. I used a combination of stuff sacks and packing cubes. It's really up to you and personal preference, but I would definitely recommend finding some sort of organization system before you leave. So that's what I have on travel bags. Okay, so our next section is technology, and I want to start off by talking about unlocking your cell phone. So I personally showed up to orientation and thought my cell phone was unlocked, but it wasn't. So we ended up having to talk to my cell provider and paying $700 to unlock it. So I would strongly recommend contacting your service provider as soon as possible and finding out if your phone is unlocked for SIM cards, and if it's not unlocked, then you need to figure out the steps to unlock that. That's going to be the way that we put different SIM cards in different countries, and then you're going to be able to connect with everyone, and it's absolutely necessary. So definitely contact your service provider, figure that out. Next thing is bringing a laptop. So for all students who are on a work-study scholarship, you have to have a laptop all 3 trimesters, and if you're not on a work-study scholarship, you have to have your laptop 2nd and 3rd trimester. I would personally really recommend bringing your laptop, whether or not you're a work-study student. First trimester, it's a really great way to watch Netflix, to call your parents or your family or whatever. I personally keep a personal blog, so that was a really great way for me to do that. That type of thing. It's just really great to have your laptop first trimester, but it is important to note that Winterline is not liable for any damages that happen to your laptop on program, so it should be insured, and you also should have a protective case. I'm not going to go over anything specific that's on your packing list. That should be detailed enough for you to figure things out, but I do want to talk about a couple of things. The first thing is the difference between wicking and cotton material. So this is one of the shirts I brought to first trimester. It's really nice because it's a Nike dry fit, so it's actually like a Nike running shirt. So if it gets wet or if you're really sweaty, it wicks that moisture really quickly, which is really nice. And then this is an example of a cotton shirt. This is just my Winterline cotton shirt. This, if it gets wet, you're going to stay cold. This is not the type of thing you want to bring on Knowles. You always want to be bringing wicking materials. Cotton is okay for Central America. Some students opt to wear cotton because they think it's more comfortable. I personally preferred like my Nike and Lululemon wicking material, but again, it's up to the student's preference. I also want to show you guys my hiking boots. We were in really cold weather for Knowles. You guys are going to be in a very different climate, but these were my very warm and comfortable hiking boots. I broke mine in before orientation. For me, that looked like doing a 6 or 7 mile hike. I live in Boulder, Colorado, so it's pretty accessible. Other students just wore them around their house. Whatever you need to do to break in your boots is going to be really important because you don't want to be having hot spots and blisters on Knowles. That's the worst. And then my last thing is I want to talk about how it's important to bring 1 or 2 nice options to Central America in terms of clothing. So I actually bought this dress in Belize. I know you guys are going to Panama. We went to Belize. But this was a nice option for me to, if we went out to dinner as a group, I just didn't want to be constantly wearing my athletic clothes. So really great for girls to bring maybe 1 or 2 really lightweight casual dresses. For guys, maybe it's a golf shirt or a lightweight button-down shirt. Don't feel like it's going to be business casual or anything like that, but you definitely want to bring a few options that aren't that athleisure. And then the last thing I want to talk about is sharing clothes in the group is always an option, and I would take advantage of it if other students are willing to. For me personally, I shared my clothes with a ton of girls, and they shared them with me, so I felt like I had more options to choose from, which was really nice. And again, that's kind of that group living mindset. I think some guys did it. It wasn't as popular with the guys, but I definitely really recommend offering to share your clothes, and other girls will probably share them with you. Okay, so this is our last section. This is packing for trimester 2 and 3. You're not going to need to worry about this until winter break when you're home and you're packing for the second portion of your trip, but I want to include this in the video because it's part of the packing list. So the biggest thing that I think is really important to keep in mind for trimester 2 is appropriate and respectful clothing. So the way that I look at it is Winterline really focuses on making students travelers and not tourists, and this was something I really took away from the program. And part of that is really kind of blending into other people's cultures and what they wear. I tried to stay as neutral as possible and really cover my shoulders, cover my knees, especially in Asia. And it's just really awkward to see other tourists who are wearing tank tops and crop tops and super short shorts. It just doesn't look great, doesn't blend in, and I can see how it becomes disrespectful to people who actually live there and where that's their culture. So I actually got some clothes in Cambodia. I just want to show you that these are some options. I got this dress in Cambodia. They have really amazing clothes that are really cheap. So again, look, this is super cute, but it covers my shoulders a bit, and it's long enough to cover my knees. I actually got these pants on a service trip in Tanzania, but I wore these because they're just kind of fun. But they're really loud, and they're super lightweight, which was really nice. And so again, I let a lot of people borrow these. That was nice. And I also got this skirt in Cambodia because a lot of the temples you need to be covering your shoulders and your knees. So this is a nice wrap skirt where I could be wearing shorts but then cover my knees if I had to go into a temple. I could keep it in my day pack. It was really lightweight. And then one thing to note about second and third trimester is there's going to be fewer workout clothes, and it's going to be more casual and professional settings. So in Asia, I wore some of the clothes that I just showed you in t-shirts and that type of thing. In Europe, I tended to wear leggings and jeans and t-shirts and sweaters. And then the last thing to note that I think is really important is the climate is obviously very different in the spring and winter from going from Asia to Europe. So one of the biggest things to keep in mind is packing items that are versatile and that you could layer up when it gets colder in Europe, but you could kind of layer down when you're hot in Asia. So I definitely keep that in mind. So that is it for our Winterline packing video. I hope you guys found this useful and that you got some tips and information to help you pack before your big trip. Last thing I want to mention is you should follow Winterline on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, and YouTube, all those great social media platforms. We're always sharing new posts that are really helpful for either packing or learning more about your year on Winterline. And if you'd like, you could follow my personal blog, which I'll link in the description box, and that's a really great way for you guys to see some of my video edits and read some of my stories and experience from when I was a Winterline student. So as always, feel free to reach out to Kim or Nick or me or anyone on the Winterline team, and we're happy to answer any of your questions. Okay, thanks so much.